Hello and welcome to the Kenneth Vercammen Office Legal Podcast. In this edition, we look at evicting delinquent tenants who don't pay their rent. Those are, people that owe the landlord money and they don't pay. Typically, the landlord has to go through detailed notices before evicting people who are constantly late or violate the landlord's rules or stay past the lease. But if someone hasn't paid rent, then the landlord, without any notice to the tenant, can have their attorney file an eviction complaint right away. And I use the word attorney because if the property is owned by a corporation or an LLC, then under New Jersey law, they're required to have an attorney file for them. So the attorney prepares a complaint for the eviction, setting forth what the monthly rent is, what's owed, what's going to be owed the next time the month is owed. If the lease calls for attorney's fees, the attorney also prepares summonses. Now, the complaint also can have a request for eviction based upon habitual late or other grounds, but, and here's the important but, you must attach copies of all the formal notices that were personally served upon the tenant. If they're not attached or not done correctly, then the landlord-tenant court often will just reject it and send the pleadings back. As the attorney, I said, also prepares the summons. Copies are made. It's sent to the county superior court, special civil court, tenancy division. The tenancy with the filing fee, it's under $75. The tenancy division will then have it served by a constable, and a hearing will be set usually within 3, 4, 5 weeks, and a postcard sent to the landlord's attorney. As the attorney, we can't prove our case without our tenant there, so we send them a notice saying your court date is this date, this time. Come in and bring all your lease, bring all your papers in connection, bring your ledger, and in these cases, if the tenant doesn't show up, we move to have default in favor of the landlord and fill out some paperwork to be filed to have the tenant eventually removed. If the tenant does show up, then the case will go to a mediation first. But we usually typically talk to the tenant and say, listen, can we enter into some type of payment schedule? Now, many of our landlords say, I don't want to enter into any schedule with them. And I'll usually say, well, listen, they can enter into a plan. You'll get some money, at least today, and if they don't pay when it's due in 2 weeks, then you can just move to have the tenant evicted by filing certain papers, and you don't have to go through the hearing. So it's fairly complicated if you don't know what you're doing. For other information on evicting deadbeat tenants, visit website njlaws.com, and for representation in Central Jersey, contact Kenneth Vercammen's office at 732-572-0500. Just remember that you as the landlord are going to be required to pay the attorney up front. They're not going to handle it on a contingency. Thank you.